It is time to introduce the next speaker. He is the Pro VC Nish, Dr. K. A. Shajin Nargunam. A few words about him.
Dr. A. Shajin Nargunam, Pro Vice Chancellor of Nurul Islam Center for Higher Studies, Kanyakumari. Also the Director of Nanaji Sat Mission under the institution. It is a great honor to have you, sir. I request Dr. A. Shajin Nargunam, sir, to address the gathering.
Thank you. Can we have some applause for sir? Thank you.
Most respected dignitaries on the dais, organizers of this Kesari Conclave 2023, other delegates and learned professors, good morning to one and all. Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education. So you may wonder why I am standing here on this particular occasion as a technological university. So here we are going to discuss as a nation, so how technologically we can integrate and work towards the development of our nation. With that motive, we are here in this particular conclave. So Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education is the only university which is located in the Kanyakumari district, which is the southern tip of India. So it is known for its knowledge and wisdom. So this is the corresponding overall view of that particular university, our university campus. And we know Swami Vivekananda ji gained the knowledge, power of this wisdom through meditation from this particular part of our country. And so we have been located in that particular part of imparting knowledge and education to all across India. And so this Nurul Islam Center for Education or Nurul Islam Educational Group of Institution started that journey of providing educational service to all from the year 1954 onwards. And is having a very big group of institutions starting from university, dental college, medical hospitals and all those things. And so more than 10,000 students are pursuing their graduation, post-graduation and other research activity under this particular educational group. And so we have been more than 120,000 alumni of this group of institutions. So that is a brief history of this particular institution. And so now coming to the corresponding journey towards developing the corresponding national global task. So we have been talking about renewable energy a lot because energy plays a very important role, and we in New Delhi now we are also suffering because of the corresponding carbon emission and all those energy issues. So our students of electrical engineering and biomedical engineering students started a pilot venture. How effectively we can make use of all this particular technology for effectively using harnessing the corresponding renewable energy in our cath lab. So we started doing a basic research of that particular activity, and then finally, so what we did is, so we have established a fully first green energy cath lab in our hospital. With all our research and technology, we have implemented that, and it has been effectively tested. And for this great effort, so we have been invited to present that corresponding concept that we have implemented in our hospital in the UN nation under the corresponding concept of sustainable energy for all. And it has been presented by our Honorable Pro Chancellor of our university as a model that is being implemented in the southern tip of India. And then we started thinking about how the energy conservation can be improved still further. So Honorable Modi announced that net zero emission, and India is aiming to have a self-sufficient net zero emission country in 2070. With that motto, we started doing lot of survey of how this particular net zero emissions can be implemented in healthcare system, because we know healthcare system is one of the major area in which we require a lot of energy. And so when you do the analysis, the carbon dioxide emission or green energy emissions are more because of the corresponding periodic activities that are happening in healthcare division 2. So based on that, we took a pilot project and we started studying how much energy is being utilized in healthcare per day. And so based on the survey, so we have a hospital, so immediately that those surveys are being conducted inside our campus, and we learned that so nearly 5,500 units of energy is being consumed. So immediately that can be related to the corresponding carbon footprint that is being generated because of that energy consumption. So how this can be reduced further? What are all the corresponding renewable energy sources we have, and how by effectively using the renewable energy sources, we can curtail the corresponding electricity usage in that hospital. And based on that particular study, so first we thought of having a solar power system in all buildings of the campus. So definitely those energy harvested using the solar power can be used for our day-to-day operation in the functioning of the hospital. So that is the first step, and which is being implemented successfully inside our hospital. And we have started Green Industry Revolution project in our hospital, and it is being inaugurated by the Chancellor and the Chairman of our Nurul Islam Educational Group of Institution. And this is how we started that corresponding journey towards the development of renewable energy. As you could see, so all the corresponding buildings, we led that, and so we started harvesting the solar energy for our day-to-day operation of all the activities in that. And followed by that, so yes, we have harnessed that energy, and that the energy is being effectively utilized in the day-to-day operation of all the healthcare solutions. Then next, so we started monitoring all the other things. And another major concern is the effective utilization of water resource is another major cause of concern. How effectively this particular water resources can be utilized effectively. So then we started investing on what are the effective recycling mechanisms we can have as a pilot study, and we started doing all the corresponding investigation, and we have established a effective water recycling model inside the hospital campus also for that, and it is now effectively operating, and those particular recycled water is being used for our plantation and for cleaning work, so that it greatly reduces the amount of carbon dioxide that is being generated because of the corresponding power consumption normally we use for water, and we use that corresponding recycled water for our vegetation also. So the carbon footprint is also being further reduced because of this particular recycling system, which is effectively in that. Then we start off thinking how the rainwater harvesting can be improved still further for the effective utilization of the water requirements inside the hospital. And so we have implanted that corresponding water dialysis RO plant, which is fully functional with the help of that corresponding rainwater that is being harvested inside that corresponding hospital campus. So these are the corresponding groundwater recharge mechanisms. So what are all the possible ways we can have, and effectively we can make use of the corresponding consumption of energy which are required. Then we started a solar power EV charging station also, because the next fourth case is the usage of these automobile vehicles. So now if we are having a electrical charging system inside that corresponding campus, and if we start using all the electrical vehicles for our day-to-day operation inside the campus, that will also greatly reduce the carbon footprints that is being generated because of that corresponding automobile usage. So definitely we need to use all the corresponding automobiles in that for our day-to-day operation. And so we did a survey, and we started converting, as an university, we started converting all the corresponding present day high technology device automobiles to electrical automobile devices, and so we have successfully converted those devices also, and it is being tested effectively inside our campus. And then another major area is waste to energy. So we have been producing lot of biological waste and other wastes too, and handling and processing of this particular waste is becoming another major concern. And then we thought of having a waste to energy management system inside that will help us to use the wastage that is being generated inside our hospital, and how effectively we can convert that as an energy source for generating energy power. And so that plant is also in an operational condition, and So we are planning to have 10-ton capacity of waste that is being generated from our hospital, and so that is not enough for this particular plant, and we thought of collecting the corresponding wastages from the nearby town, so that we will get enough amount of wastage, and that we are consuming that particular wastage, and in addition to that we are getting energy as a byproduct of that, and that energy can also be used for our day-to-day operation and can be connected to the grid, so that will become a very big energy source for our nation too. So this is how we are working in this particular net zero emission project, and so we are aiming to have a complete net zero campus within a short span of time. So this, in that angle, we are planning to work on that. So this is the first project, and so this is we are aiming to have a net zero emission campus called NIMS Medicity in the southern tip of India. Then the next major project, why I am standing here today is, so already as an university, so we have successfully launched our first satellite, NIU-SAT Mark 1. The purpose of that particular satellite is, so we know we have been heavily affected by a tsunami incident. So a university which is, and Kanyakumari is greatly affected because of that particular thing. So immediately what we thought is, as a technical university which is located near Kanyakumari, how we can help the nation and help the needy people in such disaster situation. That was our thought. So now during our research discussion, so immediately we identified that if we have something, some observatory system in space, so definitely that will help us to monitor, because if you have some observatory mechanism in Earth, that disaster calamity will definitely affect that particular system also, and it is not possible for us to gain some useful information out of it. So if you have an effective observatory system in space, so definitely that will help us a lot. And with that motive, we formed a team of 100 students from our university campus with team of 10 faculty members. We designed and developed our first student satellite called NIU-SAT. It is a 15 kg satellite. We did all the corresponding basic survey, and we have designed all the corresponding mechanical, electrical and communication part of that particular satellite, and we did all the integration and testing, and with the help of ISRO, it has been successfully launched on 2017 June, and is in orbit now. Now, next, what we are thinking is, now we are greatly affected because of the corresponding environmental emissions. And so we don't have any effective mechanism of monitoring this particular environmental emissions as such now. And so we are also facing that difficulty nowadays. So what we thought is, so can we have a mechanism of monitoring that emission across India? Across India, how we can monitor what are all the corresponding greenhouses that is being emitted, and how we can monitor all those things. And during our survey, we understood that, if you are able to deploy sensors across the country, then if you have a collection mechanism that will collect the data across the country, and so that we can consolidate, and accordingly we can do lot of analysis, and so we will get lot of information. That is one model. Like this we can proceed further. But the difficulty of this particular model is, so we need to deploy the sensors across the nation, and we do have a sensor network collection mechanism, and then those signals has to be transmitted to the satellite, and that can be collected together. So that is, so why not we can think about an alternate mechanism, because here we have to reach out all the parts of different country, and we need to deploy the sensors. That is the difficulty of this particular model. Then we thought, okay, so what is the alternative? Suppose similar to that, if you are having an observation mechanism in space, so definitely that will help us to monitor that. So we have infrared cameras. So infrared camera, we have mid-wave infrared camera that is capable of sensing the corresponding this greenhouse gas emissions across that. So this is a thermostatic camera. So that's the thermostatic camera will help us to differentiate that corresponding emissions across different parts. And if we have a satellite of that particular nature, and if we launch the satellite, so definitely that will help us to monitor the corresponding greenhouse emissions across our country like this. So for that, we don't have to install the sensors in the ground surface. Directly from space we must be able to monitor, and we started working on this particular angle, And then we thought what name we can give for this particular satellite. So actually it is a Nurul Islam University Student Satellite Mark II. That is the second phase of that particular development. So what name we can give for this particular? So during our lookout, so we came to know that our Bharat Ratna Nanaji Deshmukh. So he is a social activist, and he done lot of work for the development of the corresponding underprivileged people of our country. And he is instrumental in developing a first rural university in India. So if you are able to give a name for the satellite and in his name, if you launch that, so definitely that will be much more meaningful. So now, so because of that, we named this particular satellite as Nanaji Sat. The first satellite, which is we are going to launch this particular satellite for the net zero emission monitoring mechanism, how effectively we can monitor all the corresponding greenhouse gases that is being emitted across country. So that's why I am presenting this particular concept here, and we are going to initiate the process as a part of this conclave. So we are going to start this particular project from the month of January or February of 2024. And so we have the corresponding project schedule of this particular thing also. So we have done all this corresponding survey and the architectural design part and research part already. We have started doing all these things. And so in this particular plan, so we are planning to work out it then. Then as a part of this, so definitely semiconductor technology is playing a major role, and we need lot of technological insights for the common and development of this particular satellite. And in recent past, we have signed a MOU with Taiwan universities for the semiconductor collaborative research activity also. That will also definitely help a lot in developing the corresponding electronic components of this particular satellite too. And so we are planning to initiate that particular project as part of this particular conclave, Kesari 2023 conclave. And I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for providing an opportunity for us to propose this particular new venture in this particular conclave. Thank you, Ananta.